Is it fair to say that was a defining moment in my life? Yeah. Life's never going to be the same, but do you think it was the defining moment of my life? See, I don't think so. Breaking my neck, yeah, that changed my life. But it was what came next that really changed me. I bet it was day 3 or 4 in the hospital at OHSU, intensive care. And I just reached that point where I couldn't take it anymore. You know that feeling where all the crying and all the sadness, and I had enough. So Mom came into the room and she just says, Jake, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. This is terrible. As much as I could strain against my hard plastic neck brace, I looked over, said, Mom, would you just chill? It is what it is. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was metaphorically stepping up and becoming a leader. You see, I couldn't move anything but my head. So it struck me as kind of odd that without the ability to move my hand, even 1 inch, I was like, whoa, I can change the atmosphere in the entire room with just my attitude. Now, I can't say that it is what it is. It just made the rest of my future entirely clear. But there was a flicker. And that flicker came at a time when I desperately needed hope. So, if an attitude like that was enough to bring up a family who'd just been brought down to their knees by a tragedy, what could something like that, an attitude like that, do when your friends are having a rough day? What can an attitude like that do when you're working with a group that just needs some encouragement bad? What could an attitude like that do for you?
Commitment that you can make to yourself. I'm going to say strategy number 1 that you can use to make sure you're going to get the life that you want. This last year as a senior, strategy number 1 is to make a stand. And this is separating yourself from your circumstances. So personally, I'm trying to separate myself from this wheelchair because it's something that's really hard for me. When I go by that mirror and I see the person in the chair, that's not the Jake that I knew for the first 23 years of my life. And you may have things that are kind of holding you down. They could be your wheelchair. It might not look like mine, but it could be your self-confidence. It could be the image that you see. It could be your family. Who's ever struggled with self-confidence? Raise your hand. Aha! I just played a trick on you. You didn't even know it. I asked who struggles with self-confidence, so who's not sure of themselves. And I just saw about 100 of you raise your hand in front of this whole group. And you just proved that struggle you have with self-confidence, it's only up here. All right? I know that you have everything you need to be that rock star. Because what we need to do is create that confidence in you, where you can zoom by that mirror every day and be like, yeah, that's right. All right, listen up. Strategy number 1 that you can use to separate yourself from circumstances is just this little chant that I do all the time. It starts with this butt stomp. Boom! I am not my circumstances. I am awesome and have everything I need to succeed. All right, repeat it with me. Start with the foot stomp. Boom! I am not my circumstances.
I am not my circumstances.
I am awesome.
I am awesome.
And have everything I need to succeed. All right, we're going to try it one more time with the foot stomp. Boom! I am not my circumstances.
I am not my circumstances.
I am awesome.
I am awesome.
I have everything I need to succeed. All right, this is formerly known as Taylor, but today, you're going to be High Yacht Man. Okay, it's pretty chill. And as High Yacht Man, you're going to have to do something with that hair. So I got a little mohawk there. Would you slap that baby on? Yeah! You guys like, I'm so glad I didn't raise my hand. All right, Taylor, when I say one of those 3 bad words, which are, you are going to give me the biggest, loudest, most knock me out of my wheelchair hi-ya that you can muster up, okay? Want to practice? No, practice. Yeah, like a high. No, why don't you get back to me like at lunch? Okay, pretend I said one of those bad words. What are you going to do? but it can. I knew you could do it. And if I thought, well, he's kind of nervous to do the hi-ya, it won't work. I probably shouldn't. Hi-ya! Whoa! Thank you, hi-ya, Pen. I knew that will work. And if I said, let's just don't put that in today. Thank you. It's like he's questioning himself. Hi-ya. Thank you, hi-ya. Man, you did a perfect job.
Moving on to choice. I got this little poem in the mail from like an 83-year-old nun. It cracked me up because when I opened it up and read it, I was like, whoa, this is something Hulk Hogan would say. So excuse me while I get into character. As you go through life, brother, whatever your goal, hey, you keep your eye on the donut and not on the hole. Makes sense, it's a choice. Hulkamania in here, yeah. A part of my story I didn't tell you yet because it's a little bit sad was about some choices that my old friend made after that happened. After we fell forward and my neck was broken, he just left me. He's like, I'm out, see ya. I never heard a word from that guy since. How easy would it be to focus on him and just say, man, you did this to me. You're the reason I hurt. You're the reason I'm in a wheelchair. You're the reason I can't work at my old job. You were drunk. You did this. At what point in time do we stop living life looking in the rearview mirror? How can we move forward? We're spending our whole time looking back. Dang you! You can't do it. And when you make that choice to not just focus on the problem, you might see other things. Like, yeah, he made the bad choice to put me in the headlock, but I was the only person that decided it was cool to drink like that. I mean, no one else made me drink all those beers. That was all my choice. And as you're getting up there in your high school career and going into college, I know I can't tell you don't drink and don't do drugs, but I let it take over my life. And I'm embarrassed to say, but I became a slave to the can. I became, as I went through college, more and more about how drunk we could get, yeah, and where we could go to get our next beer. And make no mistake, my weapon of self-destruction was beer or alcohol, but it could just as easily been drugs that put me in this chair because they do the same exact thing to you.
We can also use our mental muscles to heal scars from people that have hurt us in the past. It still tears me up inside to know that my old best friend put me in a wheelchair like this. And when we tease each other, when we push each other in the halls, write nasty stuff on Facebook, when we make little groups and exclude some people, that's choosing to make the same mistake as the guy who bullied me, isn't it? That's choosing to do the same thing. So guys, why do we do that to each other in the halls? Really? Why do we do that horseplay? Why do we always act like a bunch of chest-thumping monkeys, trying to intimidate each other? And I was there, I know. I used to do the same stuff. I've got to be macho. But listen to me right now, because this is important. This accident happened so fast, you wouldn't even have a chance to hit the reset button. I mean, it was like instant. It went from that guy goofing around to, oh my gosh, Jace almost dead in a fraction of a second. Now, girls, excuse me, I want to say one more thing to you guys. Next time you feel like horsing around like that, if you want to wrestle, join the wrestling team. If you want to push each other around, join the football team. But next time you feel like doing something like that to each other in the halls or putting someone else down, even if it's with your words, just think, am I willing to put that person in a wheelchair for the rest of their life with this action? Just think about that. So now I'll move on to the girls. I want you to imagine something real quick. Imagine that you are up here on this stage. And you've got a couple hundred people looking at you. And they're all laughing at you. They're pointing right at you and giggling and saying things about you. and putting you down, how alone does that make you feel? That's what it feels like to be emotionally bullied. Girls pick on each other in a different way. And sometimes, honestly, they don't even mean to. But you can make other people feel that way just by snubbing them in the hall, or making fun of them, or being in your little group that doesn't let anyone else in. And I hate to say this, but sometimes people, like, they're physically bullied, a lot of times have issues like me. You can see it through a chair. A lot of times people that are emotionally bullied feel so low and so bad about themselves that they think taking their life is like the only way out. That would be less painful than what it's like to come to school. And why do we do that to each other? Every interaction we have, every hour you talk to somebody, every time you see someone, that's an opportunity to either push them down or build them up.
All right, you might be thinking, Jake, okay, hey man, it's not me. It's everyone around me that has a negative attitude. That might be true sometimes. And in times like that, the only thing that you can control is yourself. Because if you want something to change, where's the first place that you should always start? Right here.
Okay, I'll
right
leave
here.
you with a poem from Dr. Seuss that I want you to think about for the rest of this week. He said, "You have brains in your head and feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You are who you are, and you know who you know. You're the one who decides how far you're going to go." So keep an eye out for those hi-ya moments. Give me a hi-ya. 1, 2, 3. Hi-ya! Hey, when life happens, I hope you choose to live it. Thank you so much.